G'day, welcome into episode 2 of the Profit Paddock, and nice show today. We've got Rosehill, Flemington, and of course all the action from the Inter-Dominion at Albion Park kicks off tonight. So there's plenty to go through and dissect on today's show. Looking forward to getting stuck in. We're going to go to Flemington today. I think there's a few shorties we can get involved with. Race 1, Bar Cash. It won a maiden on a Sunday most recently. And then it's at about a $2.60 quote from barrier 7. It showed a lot of gate speed. It should be on the front end. And honestly, when it pinned its ears back in the home straight, I was like, this is going to be a good horse. And was eased down at the line. So I think you can take the short to around Bar Cash in the first. And then race 2. Not sure how you say this one, but Buckler, $1.90. I think you can take the shorts here as it does get back and it's got a nice wide enough draw to just settle. And 1,600 metres doesn't look like it'll be an issue as it was quite strong weight. And yeah, I think it's just a pretty weak field, and I mean, it is the top weight, but I think it's just going to be too good and can just get home over the top over the 1,600. Race number 6, She's an Artist. She should be put through all multis today. She's the anchor. She's a flashy looking thing with the white blaze, and wow, she's a good filly on the rise. And Jamie Mallam jumps on board, so you're not really missing out there. She should just get her in the right spot. And an extra 100 metres today shouldn't be an issue as she was eased down at the line. So she's sort of the multi-anchor, the quaddy anchor, if you will. And I think she's just one of the best bets of the day at $1.65, in my opinion. Should be around that $1.30 mark. Race number 8, O2 Good, very competitive looking field. She's a mare, been racing really well, gets a nice lightweight here. She should be going awfully close. And then race 9, Stylish at $3.20. Got the job done at Sandown last start, and this looks no harder. Fire of Etna does have barrier 1 and should be kind of hard to contend with, but Stylish seems to be in a great bit of form and should be able to get the chocolates there. The quaddy numbers for Flemington will be race 6, number 5, the anchor. Race 7, the field, as I think it's just a very open stayers race, and I wouldn't be getting involved anything less than the field, as I don't think anyone knows what's going on in that race, and there could be a massive roughie hitting that, so that could be the value in the quaddy. Then race number 8, we have 10, 13, 11, 6 and 3. And then race 9, we're finishing it with Fire of Etna and Stylish, so numbers 5 and 2. And I think it's about $200 for 100% of the quaddy around there, give or take. We then move to Rosehill, Raging Force in race 1. Obviously the shorts of this horse, you know, the value's not there anymore. I don't think it opened around 220. It's into $1.70 this morning, so punters really stepping in there, and I don't blame them. From barrier 1, the track's supposed to be a bit of a heavy surface there today at Rosehill, so from the first race of the day, barrier 1, it's going to get the best track out of all the horses that race there today, and I think it will take advantage and just get to the top, dictate and be there. There is a play in the race though. I think Sequester was really good last start, was off the track quite wide and still hit the line with a bit of purpose, and does sort of have form in behind Tempted, who we know is a very good horse. And so I think Sequester can run a top 3 there. We move to race number 4. This is an interesting race at Rosehill. Sister Die, $14. I think in some places now into 12s with the scratching of the stablemate Tempted, Gatekeeper. And I think it's just a nice horse. It does have a wide draw today. I don't know if that'll be an issue being in race 4. The track should have been figured out a wee bit by then, and I think the jockey has options to go back, settle and come with one run, and I think she's got a bit of ability. The only thing I really grinds my gears when trainers nominate a horse and it's actually going back in trip. I don't rate that as a tactic. I mean, it races in a 1400 and this is a 1300, I believe, so a wee bit of a frustration there. There is an interesting runner, number 8, Golden Strand. It won quite well last start, so I think it can be quite annoying, I'd say. I think it could run a cheeky race. But the value for Sister Di looks appealing. Race number 9, we move on. Green Fly. I've been with this horse since the Bull a few years ago when it was last and just got up right on the line. It was some win. But this horse I've been following for the last few years, and it hasn't really raced that much. It's been very, very lightly raced. Might have had a few issues. One of his biggest issues is that he's quite slow out of the gate. Green Fly sort of just gets back and then comes booming home with a big, powerful run. But he's fresh up into this after a wee freshen up. I think he has quite a lot to give here, and it's a strong field, obviously accredited in there. Robusto's coming back from a Stradbroke. So I think Green Fly is worth a little each way nibble, but respect around accredited and Robusto. And yeah, happy to see if Green Fly can get the job done. It was a nice trial as well. Race 10, number 12, Sacred Rocks. She should be winning if they think she's as good as she is. She's obviously a lightly raced mare. I think this is her 7th start. So if she wants to go on with this, she has to win this race. Kerguelen from the Cummings yard is going okay, but Sacred Rocks really has a race here to just kick on with her career and be one of these open grade sort of mares if she can keep going. But she has to win today, so she should be able to get the job done there. That brings us to our new segment where we will be phoning a friend in to get some inside mail, some tips from all around the world. Pat, good morning. How are you, mate? Mr. Worldwide.
Good, mate. How are you, buddy?
Where are you calling in from today?
Gwangali Beach, Busan. So I'm sitting here watching a few people out, certainly not as hungover as we are, playing volleyball on a Saturday morning and enjoying their weekends and starting it off the right way. And we'll hopefully I can start mine in a few hours, finding a couple of winners.
That's what we love to hear. You're staying away from men in vans and suits, I hope. Hopefully there's no Squid Games going on nearby.
No Squid Game free at the moment, but very much looking forward to tuning in today. I mean, what can you say about Flemington? I mean, it's finals day, sort of the back end of that winter period, and there's a fair few listed contests and whatnot. But I mean, it's a soft 6 track. You've got a lot of horses who have done varying degrees of winning on all different types of tracks, and it's very hard to line the form up in these finals because, I mean, they're all coming through great form lines. They've all proven themselves to be in these races, but it does make it a bit harder to find, which one's going to sort of jump out at you. And, I mean, there's a couple of standouts, horses that I think in the manner in which they've won are really good. I mean, She's an Artist is probably the horse that comes to mind across the day as the one who's probably shown the most X factor. But, I mean, who knows?
She's certainly got the beauty going, eh? That white blaze and the white bloody hooves. She's got to be one of the most beautiful horses.
Well, I mean, it's very funny. I mean, you see a lot of horses come in with these sort of Apache cat-like, markings on their body, and I mean, from a sales perspective, it attracts many buyers to a horse like her because they want to have a horse that's very unique and stands out. But very rarely do the ones that look good and have these unique markings actually do any good. She's actually not only beautiful in the way that she looks, but she's also also got an engine as well, which is good to see.
Yes, I will be anchoring her in the quaddie. I'm sure there'll be a few people doing the same. Hey, Pat, what have you got for us today, mate? Have you got any winners on today?
Oh, look, I mean, I'm sort of staying away from Flemington per se, Rosehill and Sunny Coast. I mean, Sunny Coast is the first meeting out of the Queensland Carnival. So, I mean, a lot of those horses have had their runs and sort of we're back to a sort of stock standard meeting there. So I'm staying away. I'll be honest with you, I've had 2 bets for the day, and I'm sticking with 2 horses that I feel have clear advantages over their fields. The first one being Super Live, opened up $7 with Sportsbet. I think they went up a little bit big there. Started off in a Group 3 in January, running as a young 2-year-old filly, still a 2-year-old, and comes up against the older horses here, but it's been freshened up for Leon and Troy, the Corson's team, and obviously Will Larkin as well. Blake McDougall rides in the first race at Wangaratta. So I'll be interested to see if Super Live can return here and defy the older horses. I think has been showing enough to suggest that a run might be good. And I mean, when they were offering $220 the place, it was definitely worth a good each way go. I think we can get about $460 at the moment. So that'd be my first. But my main one would be Stephen Theodore is absolutely low-level flying at the moment. He's got one that's running around in the third call today.
Dillinger wearing it down.
Blushing
Tycoon grabbed by Dillinger. Oxford Blue coming at Dillinger. Dillinger just in front. Oxford Blue with a lunge.
First run for the stable, but
Oxford Blue's just put it.
Horse is very, very competitive and very good in his own right, racing in Victoria, and drops across to what you could say from a class perspective is probably a bit of it's slightly more inferior. So, I mean, you say that the horse has got the advantage, and I think strikes a really nice race there at Gawler. I mean, there was much as 3-1 available for it. There's support there now for it, and I'd say it'll keep trimming up until the start. So, yeah, that would be my other one there. Race 3 at Gawler, Oxford Blue. Keep a close eye on that, and T-Panel to ride as well. Obviously, they've been able to attract one of the hot shots and one of the more senior and certainly talented riders in South Australia to steer it around. So, they'd be my two I'd say today.
Thank you very much. I did cross-check you, and I went and looked at the trial from Super Live, and did have its ears scrubbed off for a brief moment, and then it just kicked away from the rest of the field in that trial. So it does look to have a bit of ability on paper and from that trial. And then your other one, obviously, been racing at Flemington, Caulfield, dropping back from that city grade in Victoria to South Australia, which is arguably pretty weak, and finds a really nice race for it. So I like where you're going there today, and good luck with your tips. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for having me on.
That was Pat Comerford calling in from Korea. So thank you very much for your tips, mate, and good luck if you're following him. We move to the harness racing segment of the show, and it's Inter Dominion night at Albion Park. It's mouthwatering stuff. Probably arguably the best card I've ever seen at Albion Park in the last few years, and every race just packs a punch. So without further ado, race 1, Captain Mistress, drawn barrier 1. She is going to have to be very much on her game. She has been coming from back row draws and powering over the top, but an absolute role reversal here. Barrier 1, Nathan Williamson doesn't want to get caught sleeping here, as it could be quickly shuffled 3 fence, and 90% of the time, if you're 3 fence Albion Park, see you later, mate. You're gone. You can't win. So the start crucial for Captain Mistress. And there is a bit of speed outside her. So we'll see how that one plays out. Happy to stay away from a punting perspective, but it's just mouth-watering entertainment. Race 2, they kick off the heats for the Inter Dominion. Rakiro Rebel, the favourite. I can't see why, other than the James Herbertson factor in the stablemate drawn 1. So the lead's obviously there initially. However, you've got 2 Shannon Price runners drawn a wee bit wider on the arm who are back to their sort of best. Speak the Truth grinded away last start and got the job done. Sure Thing Captain, well, it's a flashy fella, and he goes good, and he's got the speed and sort of a bit of versatility, can do it at both ends. And yes, Speak the Truth, if it's back to its best in its prime, it was racing really competitively with Leap to Fame, sitting parked outside him even. So a very interesting first heat. You've obviously got Beach Bull there, who ran a good third in behind Leap to Fame. Got a wee bit lucky, was able to sneak up the fence, and that run maybe looks a little bit better than what it actually says. But yeah, Luke McCarthy, we know how good of a trainer he is, especially in these big moments at Inter Dominion level. So it's a very competitive race. Won't be tipping one out in that one, but it's another mouth-watering fixture. Race number 3. We do have Don Hugo in here from 3 the back row. $1.22 on offer, so nothing to get too excited about there for Don Hugo. Obviously should be winning this race, as it's the weakest field of the heats. Jim RT from barrier 1's going to have all of the aces up its sleeve, but recent form's not been ideal, although saying that, it's a horse that should appreciate being on the fence from barrier 1 and getting a nice trip and transit. So you're getting $2.20 a place there. Not the worst value I've ever seen. Race 4, Leap to Fame in this one, the $1.10 favourite, drawn inside the back row Very, very interesting barrier draw for his first heat in the Inter-Dominion Series. Will they go back? What are they going to do? I'm glad I'm not driving because it's just a wee bit of a muck up there on the draws. But he's obviously class, and he'll find a way, I'm sure. But Pin Seeker from Barrier 3 didn't have a lot of gate speed at Menangle, and I'm not sure he does possess enough to really fly the arm here and get the lead as easy as people are imagining. They see Pin Seeker in 3, they go, oh, yep, lead's right there. Probably is, but it's going to have to be a bit more switched on at the gate. It was a bit lazy at Menangle, I thought, and got the front because of just the respect, I guess, factor. But yeah, I don't think the value's there for Pin Seeker for me. $1.22 a place, could you believe? Absolute joke there. And $6 for the win. So yeah, I'd looked down probably to Max Delight's, probably 14 and 2s is a nice price there. It'll be going forward and being up on tempo. I tipped out Pete Sedso last week, got unlucky when it galloped at the start and ran a great fourth from last at Redcliffe. But Barrier 2 is a wee bit of a fraud draw there. You know, on paper you go, inside road, sort of a nice draw, but Barrier 2 at Albion, they don't seem to get out of that hole very well. And Barrier 1, Mosdale Terry, does have a bit of gate speed. So Pete Sedso in a wee bit of trouble there early doors, but if it was able to cross Mosdale Terry, I could say confidently I think Pete Sedso would run a top 3, top 4 from that position. So, well, interesting to see how that race plays out. We go on to the first heat of the Trotters where London to a Brick and Oscar Bonavina will take the gloves off and do battle. Wasn't impressed with Oscar Bonavina last start, and the horse has been there, done that. It's coming to sort of the back end of his sort of career, I reckon. London to the Brick probably on the way up, but has had a lot of issues and has been beaten favourite quite a few times. So $2 for London to a Brick, who looks to have the lead quite easy there and probably can just rack him and stack him. And Oscar might be 1 to 2 back, 3 back the running line and may come with a devastating turn of foot, but will it be enough? We won't find out until race 5 tonight at Albion Park. We move on to the next race, race number 6. It was an interesting race with Harold Smith in 2. Now it's been scratched, and also Masterly on the front row being scratched has brought RC Phoenix in from barrier number 7 into barrier number 5, and we know how good he is. The TAB Trot race in Cambridge, he won that, so he can go overseas and do it at both in New Zealand and Australia, so that's a sign of a good horse. And his run at Melton was just exceptional, just played with him really. And I think Bet and Wins $1.45 favourite is wrong. Favourite should be RC Phoenix, because in no right world should they try and park RC Phoenix here in the first heat. They should just let RC Phoenix come knocking on the outside, take the lead, and they sit in the trail and they run 1-2. And they both get good points going forward in the series, because if you're betting wins connections, there's no real win-win here. If you try and park RC Phoenix, he's just going to grind away on the outside. You're both going to be labouring late and leave it up to a swooper to come over and ruin the party. So it would be the dumbest thing ever if they sort of hunted up and worked really hard to keep out RC Phoenix. I just don't see it from a logical standpoint why you'd do that. And you just, let it cross you, take the second, could potentially get up the sprint lane. Who knows how good Bet and Win can be. It's got a few issues. I know it's been sick a few times, foot issues, blah-de-da-de-da. On its best behaviour, sure, it could get up the lane and beat RC Phoenix, but I just don't think at the moment, I'm definitely in RC Phoenix's camp, and I think he is just the best trotter in the series. And yeah, so I think RC Phoenix just wins that race, and it would be silly if it was run any different. Race number 7, the Rising Sun, a great looking race. We've got Path to Greatness, Hesitate, Rubera, the Janitor, Fader Waits, Jack's Ultimate Fury, and the Kiwi Better Than Cash gets in after some scratchings. I'm going to go with Jack's Ultimate Fury. Wee bit of an interesting runner here, drawn to the back row. Not sure where it's going to get to. Don't really care. This horse seems to be pretty versatile for a little nuggety fella. Really, really impressed me when I seen him racing at Bathurst. And the horse has really come on leaps and bounds, and racing at Wagga, albeit Wagga horses, it's back to its right class here. Very competitive race this, but if he is as good as I think he is, he could run a cracking race. And I'm going to tip him out actually in the futures market to win the Queensland Derby. Hopefully this run he sort of just gets cuddled up, runs a slashing, well, hopefully wins, but could run a sort of slashing placing, and that'll set him up good for the Queensland Derby. So happy to have him on top. Then we move to race number 8. Interesting race where we've got Nathan Dawson and Bernie Hewitt switching roles. Jungle Dragon was driven by Nathan Dawson, now Bernie Hewitt drives last week at Redcliffe, and now Sweet on Lexi driven by Nathan Dawson, who was driven by Bernie Hewitt last week. So unsure what they're up to there. Sticking with Jungle Dragon, and Bernie Hewitt knows this horse well. Driven him a fair bit. So from 2 the back row, again, going to be sitting in that sort of poised, ready to pounce position of the race. Hopefully there's a bit of top end speed with Sweet on Lexi drawn somewhat wide. It might put the pressure on, and could be going to sort of a 26, 27 first quarter and 28, 29 second, hopefully rolling, and then setting it up for Jungle Dragon to just come powering over the top. That would be the ideal world. And then the last 2 races of the night, I'm not very keen to get involved. If Sugar Pie Honey in the last race was over the mile, I'd be getting involved. But James Herbertson would add a couple links to that horse from Ricky Olchin. Obviously, James Herbertson, one of the best drivers in Australia right now. And Barrier 1, lucrative, gate speed, nice horse. But it is over the distance, so I'm happy to just stay away at the $2 price. You know, the little bit of distance may just be a wee bit vulnerable late for Sugar Pie Honey. So I do like one actually at Menangle. Just quickly, race 4 Artemis Mission was opened up at about 4s, drifted immediately out to 8s. So that's usually a sign it's not a good positive sign, let's put it that way. Chris Geary does do the driving. He's a sharp driver, but from Barrier 9, he's going to have to be good. Hopefully a bit of gate speed on offer and can go to the top and just roll them. The horse has raced well at Menangle previously, so I think it's a pretty weak field. We'll see what happens there. And really looking forward to tonight's Inter Dominion and finals day at Flemington. So hopefully we've tipped you into a few winners. We did last week, and we'll see you next week for the next episode of The Profit Paddock.